Understanding Register, how you change your language like a pro. Yo, imagine texting your friend in the park, all slang and emojis. That's informal register, super chill and casual. Good afternoon, Ms. Parker. Thank you for having me. I'm eager to contribute to your team and grow professionally. Switch scenes. Now our teen rocks a white coat as a doctor. The words get technical. Now picture the same teen, but dressed sharp at a job interview. The language flips to formal, polite, and respectful. The patient is presenting with symptoms consistent with acute appendicitis. Language is a shapeshifter. It molds to fit your moment, your mood, your mission. So go out, talk your way, and remember, the power's in the way you register your world. So, what exactly is this thing called register, and why do we change how we speak all the time? Let's find out.
Language is not static, it's dynamic, shifting based on who we are speaking to, where we are, and the purpose of our communication. This is where the concept of register comes into play. Register refers to the variety of language used in particular contexts, influenced by social, situational, and cultural factors. Today, we'll take a deep dive into how register functions in everyday life, with insights from both sociolinguists and the perspectives of ordinary people. Understanding register helps us see how language adapts in real time, revealing much about our social relationships and the environments we move through.
What is register? In the field of sociolinguistics, register refers to a variety or style of language determined by the context in which it is used. It encompasses word choice, sentence structure, tone, and even nonverbal elements like body language and intonation. Register is closely tied to situational appropriateness. In other words, choosing language that fits the situation. For example, consider how one might say, "I'm sorry." In a formal business email, "Please accept my sincerest apology." In a casual text to a friend, "Sorry about that." In a medical context between doctor and patient, "I regret the discomfort this procedure may cause." Each expression carries the same basic message, but the form it takes depends on the social setting, the relationship between speakers, and the expectations of that environment. This is what sociolinguists mean by register.
Types of register. Register is often categorized into several types or levels, typically ranging from formal to informal, and also including technical or specialized registers. Formal register, used in professional, academic, legal, and ceremonial settings. It includes complex sentence structures, specialized vocabulary, and a respectful tone. Informal register, used among friends, peers, or in relaxed settings. It tends to include contractions, slang, and a conversational tone. For example, "Hey, did you check out that new movie yet?" Technical or specialized register. This is used within specific professional fields like law, medicine, or engineering. The vocabulary here is often not understood by outsiders. For example, in medicine, a doctor might say, "The patient is presenting with acute appendicitis." The same speaker may shift between these registers throughout the day, depending on their role in each interaction.
What influences register? Register does not exist in a vacuum. It is shaped by several key factors. A. The relationship between speakers. One of the most influential factors is the relationship between the speaker and the listener. This includes social status, familiarity, age, and level of intimacy. For instance, a student may address a professor formally. "Good morning, professor. May I ask a question?" But the same student might speak informally to a peer. "Hey, what's up?" B. The setting. Whether the interaction takes place in a classroom, workplace, religious service, or on social media, the physical and social setting affects how we speak. Imagine a lawyer speaking in court. Your Honor, the evidence clearly indicates. Compare that to how they might speak with their child at home. Let's clean up before dinner, okay? C. The topic of discussion. Serious or sensitive topics often require a more formal tone, even in familiar settings. Discussing finances, illness, or ethical issues may prompt someone to adopt a more careful, respectful register, even with close friends. D. Cultural norms. Different cultures have different expectations for language use. In some cultures, it is common to maintain a highly formal register with elders or strangers. In others, informality is more acceptable and even encouraged.
Sociolinguistic theories on register. Many sociolinguists have attempted to define and categorize register in systematic ways. One of the most notable figures is Michael Halliday, who proposed that register is determined by three variables: field, what is happening, the subject or activity; tenor, who is involved, the relationship between participants; mode, the form of communication, spoken, written, texted, etc. For example, writing a scientific article involves a formal written mode, a professional field, and an assumed distant tenor between writer and reader. Another important contribution comes from Bernstein, who studied how social class influences language. He introduced the concepts of elaborated code and restricted code. Elaborated code uses explicit, detailed language and is common in middle-class academic settings. Restricted code relies on shared understanding, is more implicit, and is typical in close-knit communities. Bernstein argued that these codes, and the registers they support, reflect social structures and access to power. William Labov also emphasized how register is tied to social identity. His studies of African American vernacular English, AIVE, showed that speakers often shift registers to signal group membership or to adapt to dominant social expectations, a process known as code switch.
Register in everyday life. Real people, real voices. Ordinary speakers are not consciously thinking about register as a concept, yet they instinctively shift registers every day. For instance, someone might say, to a customer at work, "How may I assist you today?" To a friend later that evening, "What's up?" And to their dog before bed, "Time to sleep, buddy." In multilingual societies, register shifts can also involve switching between languages or dialects. A teenager might speak formal Arabic in school, local dialect at home, and English slang online, all in the same day. This adaptability highlights a key insight from sociolinguistics. Language is a social tool, and register is one way we tailor that tool to fit our need. Why register matters. Understanding register is not just a theoretical exercise. It has real-world implications in education, job interviews, customer service, and cross-cultural communication. In terms of education, teachers must guide students on when to use academic language versus casual conversation. As for job interviews, candidates are expected to use a formal, respectful register to make a good impression. Regarding customer service, employees are trained to maintain a polite, service-oriented register, even with difficult clients. And lastly, as for cross-cultural communication, misunderstandings often arise when people expect different registers. What's polite in one culture may be too formal or too casual in another. In each case, register becomes a signal of social awareness, professionalism, and adaptability.
All in all, register is a foundational concept in sociolinguistics, illuminating how our language shifts in response to context, audience, and purpose. It is influenced by factors such as relationship, setting, topic, and culture. Theories by sociolinguists like Halliday, Bernstein, and Labov help us understand the deeper social patterns behind these shifts. Yet register is also intuitive. Every day we move through different roles: student, friend, employee, family member, and with each shift our language changes. This ability to adjust register is not just linguistic skill, it's a reflection of our social intelligence. By recognizing and studying register, we gain insight into the human ability to connect, adapt, and navigate a complex social world through language. Thank you for watching,